The key is the foster network. If you don't have the fosters, you can't bring the dogs. It's pretty simple. How does that work? We either request them or they come to us. A lot of times lists are sent out, Connor, the lists are sent out as a group to different rescues, and they'll say, we have this group of dogs, these animals that need to go somewhere. Otherwise, they have this much time. And so the rescues start coming in and saying, okay, I'm an Aussie rescue, I'll take these 2 Aussies, or I'm a lab rescue and I'll take these labs. Well, because we don't fit any of those categories, we'll take anything. We go for an entire group, we'll go across the spectrum. We'll take what the fosters want and what we think is highly adoptable. Yeah, I have a lot. I've had probably over 200 fosters now. Some of the more memorable ones are probably the adults that I have for a longer period of time. The puppies are fun, but you know, they come and go in 2 weeks, and I still see them from time to time and everything is cool, but some of the adult dogs where you really get to make a difference with them and bring them out of their shells or nurse them back from something. I've had a couple dogs now that have had heartworm, and so I've had to get them through 3 months of treatment for that. Or I recently had a dog that had her front leg amputated, and so we worked her through all of that and got her adopted, and she's super happy in her new home. And so for me, the puppies are fun, but I think the adult dogs are kind of where my heart is.
Yeah, very cool.
The policies within the shelters are really tight, but how it works for us is I'll reach out or they'll reach out to me and say, hey, we've got this group of dogs that we're looking to move, or we just got in all these puppies and you're a puppy rescue. Can you please come give us a hand? And we'll start talking about what they have. Those photos and those numbers and all of that information is taken by me, and then I start talking with Sonia, who is the person that reaches out for the fosters. She starts emailing out to them saying, okay, here's what we're looking at, here's what our rescue commitment is. At that time when I'm putting that list together, I'm told about which ones are special cases, who has bad wheels, leg issues, who has a possible heartworm, they've done testing and they've seen heartworm come up on the test, or who is pregnant, or who is, and there's always those surprises too. You take them off the transfer and it's supposed to be a male dog, it's a female and it's pregnant. And then it has 11 puppies. That's happened.
How about the pups in the nursery?
The pups in the nurseries, those are Morella's babies. There's 7 of them. They came in when they were approximately 2 weeks of age. They look to be like Australian Shepherd, Heeler, and possibly Australian Cattle Dog. There's a blue one in there, beautiful. They're real sweet, really high energy. One of them is extremely vocal. They're just lovely, and they're healthy, which is wonderful. They've had a few rounds of wormings. They've had 2 rounds of vaccinations. They're good to go. They've been spay-neutered. They're now 9 weeks, so we've had them for quite a while. We look for people that love animals, that are dedicated to do the right thing, people that are reactive, people that won't sit and say, oh, well, the dog is doing this and I don't need to react. They come out of the shelters a lot of times, they're very sick, or they have pretty severe behavior issues just because they're afraid. They've never been trained, they've never been talked to, let alone given free space to roam. And so we look for people that really want to interact with the animals, that understand that it's not just puppies sitting on their lap, but that it does take some work. Some people get that right away, some people don't. We welcome anyone and everyone, but we really do try to seek out the ones that are going to stay for a little while and don't just want a puppy kiss and then see you later.
So I foster failed on 3 dogs so far, Millie, Branch, and Habanero, and I think the most memorable one is Millie. She's a 5-year-old Rottweiler. She came into the rescue and she was with a different foster, and for some reason she wasn't working out in that home, so she came to me and I just fell in love with her. She's the biggest heart, and adults definitely feel more like at home after they're adopted because they're happy, they know they have a loving place, and puppies, sometimes they don't really know that they've been adopted. So definitely Millie's like one of those stories where it's happy ending, hopefully.
The protocols, and we look at it as the directors that our job is to take care of the fosters so that they can take care of the dogs. And if we provide everything for them, the kennels, the pens, the blankets, the food, the medication, anything they need, we cover and make lunch for everybody on Saturday. You know, that it's going to keep them involved longer, and it's going to allow them to focus on the dogs instead of, you know, a lot of people say, I wish I could do that, but I could never let them go. Well, the best thing you can do is let them go, because you create room for another one to come in. And without fosters, you know, these dogs don't have a chance. So basically it's just somebody that cares and has the time. They don't have to have the money to do it, because we'll provide everything they need. They just need the time to take care of them.
Anyone who's willing to put the time and commitment into caring for the animals while in their home, starting with basic training, you know, working with housebreaking and that sort of stuff, you know, they're committed to keeping the fosters in their home until adopted, and then just other passionate dog lovers, so that I know they're going to enjoy the experience. Well, we go over any questions that they have, or any additional questions after the phone interview. When I'm looking at their home, if they have a yard, I'm checking the fence line to make sure there's no breaks in the fence where puppies can escape. Meeting their personal dogs if they have dogs. If their dogs are out of control, obviously we don't want to utilize them.
Who don't know anything about rescue, like, I definitely encourage them to come and volunteer and see what we do, because I mean, it's a lot of hard work, but we have a lot of fun, and your heart will never be fuller.
I think that to do rescue, you have to be pretty strong and emotionally invested in it, because it is an emotional roller coaster sometimes. You definitely get attached to your fosters, and so when they get adopted, it's sad and happy at the same time.
Doing rescue work, it changes your perspective on what you think you know about dogs. I mean, you know, you think I'm a big dog person, as Tom said, and I love all dogs. I don't have a particular look, or not anymore. I used to. Labradors were my thing. And now, you can look like anything. I go on your personality, and I go by where you're at. My heart does go out to the ones that come in and they literally are crawling because they're so afraid. You know, you bring them out into a big space like we're in now, and they're crawling because they've never been with new people, they've never been in a new situation. Maybe they were kept in a small crate, or they're kept in a small yard, and it's all so new to them that they're just overwhelmed. And you'll go from that to seeing them running and jumping and playing, and a lot of it has to do with the power of the pack. I do not like to have the rescue just take credit of, we have wonderful fosters, but the power of other balanced dogs around dogs that are coming from a rescue situation is phenomenal to witness it.
It's part of your family. Treat it like it.
But again, the testimony to an animal is that you put them in the right environment, you balance them out with other balanced dogs, and put them in with people that are attentive and that do give them a good routine and exercise and great food and love, and they blossom. They just blossom.